It's number 3 Baylor 66 and Kansas 7. Number 14 Ole Miss 52. New Mexico State just 3. Illinois scratching and clawing as they are to within 4 now. It's 23-19. Just a few minutes into the fourth quarter. Maryland holding tough but trailing by 14, 35-21 to number 1 in America, Ohio State. That one just about 9 minutes to go in the fourth. 3:30, couple of big games. You got number 13 Northwestern heading to the Big House, take on number 18 Michigan. Wildcats are 5-0 Wolverines, 4 straight wins. Also at 3:30, number 7 LSU. They will take on South Carolina. Leonard Fournette, 3 consecutive games of 300-yard rushing yardage on the ground. Last back to do so 4 times, it was Matt Forte in 2007 when he played for Tulane. Over to the Diamond after taking last night's Game 1 of the NLDS 3-1. The Mets are flying high, and manager Terry Collins believes this team and his pitchers will continue to cruise.
This game is all about confidence. It's all about believing in yourself and knowing that even if your things aren't good, that you can still succeed. And to have him go out there against Clayton tonight and win the game is a huge lift for us.
NFL, some reports out of Chicago. Alshon Jeffrey likely to miss his 4th consecutive game because of a balky hamstring, and Marshawn Lynch has been ruled out of their game against Cincinnati. Listen to NBC Sports Radio on your local station, online, and the mobile app. I'm Keith Irizarry.
This is KCAA.
Here's all you need to know. There's a new cool way to sell your unwanted stuff online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com. buysellmakeoffer.com. You're not going to believe it. Join the legions of web sellers and buyers who are turning to buysellmakeoffer.com today. Never pay fees again. For low monthly membership of $7.95, you can sell up to 50 items, and there's a 60-day free trial membership to get you started. You can even produce your own infomercial to sell your products and upload the video for the world to see. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com.
As the owner of my business, I wear a lot of hats. I'm accounting, sales, and so much more. But I don't know marketing.
Let Dex Media be your marketing department. Our team can create a digital plan for you with everything from search to social. Contact Dex Media, that's DEX Media, to get found, get chosen, and get talked about.
Whoa, that's a job for cleanup, which would be me.
Call 844-230-3436 or visit dexmedia.com today.
Kcaa.
We found the problem with your car.
And
Turns out the carburetor differential modulator is out.
what?
And while we were digging around in there, this thing fell off.
Stop. There's no automotive repair nightmares at Diego Martinez's 5-Star Automotive in San Bernardino. 5-Star Automotive, where you'll get a great experience, and home of the $15.99 oil change. That's right, just $15.99. They specialize in transmissions, brake repair, AC, and many other repairs, all with a lifetime warranty on parts and labor. Diego knows when your auto needs 5-star attention, it's never convenient. He offers a 12-month interest-free auto repair loan on major auto repairs with no money down. He'll even throw in free towing and a 10% discount for his neighbors in the 909 who work for the city and county of San Bernardino. Call 909-387-0770. That's 387-0770. Your neighbors at 909 West 2nd Street in San Bernardino.
A multivitamin snubs magnesium. It's the Onion Radio News. This is Doyle Redland reporting. The makers of Firmalife vitamins have announced that all new packaging for their multivitamin supplement will carry the phrase, "now with no magnesium." Insiders say the high-profile feud between the company and the healthful mineral could be traced directly to magnesium's appearance at the company's Christmas party under the influence of zinc. Vitamin journalist Joel Narcus.
Seems like someone over at Firmalife has it in for magnesium. Big time.
Company officials declined to comment beyond their written statement that, quote, magnesium wouldn't be where it is today without Firmalife multivitamins. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
KCAA, where every day is a great day. KCAA, Loma Linda.
Welcome to I'm Mad as Hell with Lloyd Brock and Greg Simpson. Now, if you want to share your anger, this is the station, KCAA, every Saturday at 12 noon. If you're mad as hell at the government, politicians, IRS, your bank, a car dealer, or the court system, let us know. You may want to be one of our in-studio guests, or just call in and vent that anger. 1-888-909-1050 or 909-888-5222 locally. We may not be able to resolve your individual problems, but we will give you a forum to share your anger with our listeners. Now, join us at KCAA 1050 AM and at kcaaradio.com or check us out at Ustream. Now, here's Lloyd and Greg.
What are you mad about this morning, Lloyd? Grouch?
I got a lot to be mad about.
So do I.
Yeah, I just got an email from a friend of mine in Europe.
Okay, whereabouts?
Yeah, and she's from Spain, but she sent me this email and says, why would Syrian refugees make a dangerous and extremely long journey to Europe, European nations, and the U.S.? Well, they're not here yet.
Yeah, not yet.
And when actually these people don't want them there, and according to the Quran, they want to do away with this. They should go to Arab nations who are Islamic-oriented and are close to them.
They won't accept them, though, will they?
Well, why has it taken 5 full years, the length of the civil war in certain parts of Syria, for Syrians in a particular region to leave? And why are refugees tossing out good water and food given to them by Western governments on their arrival? Well, that answer is simple. It has the Red Cross on there, and that's a Christian symbol.
Oh, okay.
So they throw
They throw it away. They
they throw it away.
Oh, my goodness.
And why are so many refugees young men? Why are they young men and not a lot of women?
They're men mostly, huh?
Yeah, and why are the 5 wealthiest Gulf nations refusing to take even one refugee? And what do they know that we don't?
Yeah, for sure.
Could it be that these refugees crisis is not really a crisis at all, but a Trojan horse?
Uh-huh. And immigration, huh?
Could it be that we could be looking at the most massive infiltration of Muslims and the religion of Islam the West has ever seen in history? And could it be this refugee crisis is a planned takeover by the United Nations, U.S., and EU sensitive to caliphate of Islamic teachings? Many in Europe are concerned, and she said she was too, and said you should be concerned too.
Sure, it seems like maybe this is some of that biblical stuff out of some of the Old Testament scripture that describes some of this stuff.
Yeah, we had the Dutch parliamentarian Geert Wilders has suggested that people who have a passport from an Islamic country, in addition to a Dutch passport, should sign an anti-Sharia declaration. It should state that they do not want to introduce Sharia law into the Netherlands, and they repudiate all the violent passages of the Quran.
That should be without a doubt something.
Yeah, the new refugee candidates might also sign such a declaration. If they support Islamic rule, then Europe is probably not the best place for them.
Right.
You know, we should do the same thing with
Sure, we
these
should.
200,000 that are supposed to be coming here. So
Yeah, we got to protect ourselves. If nothing else, we can be humanitarian, but we still have to protect ourselves.
And that's why I'm mad as hell about this whole thing, that we
sure.
don't see this as a possible Trojan horse.
Or anything else. We just ignore it, and we can't ignore this. This is something to be mad as hell about. I'm mad as hell as well. I'm mad as hell with our president, Obama, going up to Oregon to preach gun control. Can you imagine that?
Well, yeah, and I know what he's looking at there, too, more regulations. And he said if Congress doesn't go along with it, he's just going to put it in an executive order.
And make it happen.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, yeah. That's the way to do it. That's American way. Just let him rubber stamp it and enforce it.
Where do you think he should be?
He should be in Detroit. He should be where his home state is, where 351 murders occurred and there is gun control. There's no guns.
You mean Chicago?
Chicago. Excuse me. He should be in Detroit as well. So Chicago's where he knows.
Well, yeah, there's more murders in both places.
But Chicago had 351 murders anyway. That's the correct statistics.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he should be there. He should be there figuring out why gun control doesn't work, as well as trying to control guns where people are hunters and sportsmen. They live a more rural existence up in Oregon. I bet you'd find more hunting rifles and shotguns and bows and arrows, if you will, from hunters than he ever would assault rifles and some of these weapons that are being used to do some of these atrocious acts.
Yeah, but the criminals are going to always have guns.
Well, yeah, it's simple for criminals. We got a case here in the Bay Area. They stole the gun and killed people. They go and kill people. The gun doesn't kill people automatically. It has to have a mechanism, a device behind it. It's usually a human being with a human mind bent on having authority over this, almost like a rape, you know. The gun does the same thing, and it does kill people when it's used by these creatures that have no value for our human life.
That's true. You know, and today we have a special guest in our studio.
Okay, who is it?
Yeah, Jim Fakis. He's an investigative reporter, and he's going to talk about chemtrails and maybe a few other things. Welcome, Jim.
Hey, hello, guys. Nice to be here.
Yeah. And as they say, there's been a lot of talk about these chemtrails in recent years, and a lot of people, in fact, Greg himself has looked it up on Wikipedia. What did it say? It was a conspiracy theory, right?
Conspiracy theory that had no basis, pretty much. It was pretty much contrails with been blown out of proportion and what have you. Nothing, you know.
That's far from the truth.
Yeah, okay, that's what
well,
I'm
there's two things that you can see up in the sky. There's contrails, which is short for condensation trails. That's where you get the icy crystals that sort of evaporate 10, 15, 20 seconds as the jet's flying up in the jet stream around 30,000 feet.
Yeah.
Then you have this other thing that you'll see a jet go by and it billows out this plume of white stuff and it stays there and then slowly spreads, and by the end of the day it's covered the entire Inland Empire. I see them doing this daily. So the thing you have to understand is one of them is a natural process where you're getting ice crystals. It has to be a certain temperature and a certain altitude for that to happen. But you will see the crystals evaporate. The trail isn't going to be much longer than, maybe 10 airplane lengths long.
Yeah.
But this other stuff that's being perpetrated on us is, I'm just really concerned about it. So, and they call them chemtrails, which is short for chemical. And there are certain chemicals in these aerosols that are designed to really do a whole bunch of sort of unbelievable things.
Well, I saw that on Eco Engineering. They were talking about changing weather patterns, and there are many reasons for doing this. And it's, as I say, that it's not a conspiracy theory. It actually happens, but they have a purpose behind it, a specific purpose, and they don't realize that they're hurting the environment and maybe the people involved.
Well, it's conspiracy reality. I know it's happening.
Yeah.
But and it is harmful.
Could it be causing the drought? I have a friend up in Mariposa, California. It's a lady. She worked at the airport for years. Her name's Maria Sue Still, and she says it's polluting the wells, and it's also causing the water to dry up and causing this drought.
Yes, and it's an engineered drought. They're doing it on purpose.
Okay.
Why would you think they'd be doing it to California?
I have no idea.
No, I don't either.
Well, California grows about 60% of the nation's food. So if you want to sit there and sort of bring a country down into hard times, why not start attacking their food supply?
Well, I think the governor is partly responsible for this, for not allowing enough water to go to agriculture.
Sure.
But, that's part of it. But the other part is that things are dying, right?
Right.
our forest and
yeah.
What they're spraying is aluminum oxide, strontium oxide, barium oxide, mercury, even some biological stuff, experimenting, like they have throughout history on the unknowing public. Biological stuff. So, but aluminum's extremely toxic for plant life and human life. It destroys our lungs. It slows down your cognitive abilities when you inhale it. And the size of these particles are nano-sized. They're so small they can easily be absorbed into the body. And it's accumulative. So the more you keep getting aluminum in your system, it doesn't go away. And it's detrimental.
Well,
it is also killing plants. I can't grow my tomatoes in my backyard anymore. I live in Redlands.
You can't?
No.
What does it do to them?
They just they get fungus. They don't come to their full maturity. They're just they're sickly looking.
Yeah.
And my gardener even has the same issue going on in his backyard. He can't get real healthy tomatoes right now unless, of course, you're covered. You know, you're under a greenhouse plastic.
Can you retrieve samples of this? Have you been able to retrieve samples of this in a large enough concentration to do some
research?
Good?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't specifically myself.
Okay.
But there's two great movies out there. They're full-length documentaries. I know they're on YouTube.
Okay.
One of them is What in the World Are They Spraying? And the other one is Why in the World Are They Spraying? Okay. And they have qualified people who have analyzed the soil, analyzed the water, and the levels of aluminum are just off the scale.
Wow.
The limit, you're not supposed to exceed about 1,000 parts of aluminum per billion. And we've all heard of Mount Shasta. Supposed to have pristine snow.
I used to live there.
Yeah.
And if this is being dropped from the sky, what do you think is going to be the first place that gets the most concentration? The mountaintops. Sure. So here are these hikers enjoying their healthy trip and trek up the side of Mount Shasta, and they're drinking the water, which not only has 61 times the amount of aluminum in it, but also all these other really toxic minerals. So these poor hikers are sort of toxifying themselves, thinking they're drinking pure water. I think the levels were 61,100 parts per billion of aluminum.
Wow!
At the top of Mount Shasta.
There was a scientist that did comment on that on eco-engineering, the site that I went to, and this guy's a brilliant scientist, and he said Mount Shasta in particular, he said the snowpack, he said he took samples of that, and he said the aluminum content was way out of sight, and he said the mud underneath had very little, so it had to come from the sky. There's no other way. And they saw these chemtrails going over that particular part on a regular basis. So, as I say, who's behind all this?
Well, that's they seem to be coming from the air bases. They was originally just military planes. I know now they've outfitted commercial airlines. So a lot of these planes have the little passenger windows in them, but on the inside is
tanks.
Nothing but tanks and tanks of all these interesting particulates. And everybody sort of starts off asking the question, why are they doing it in the first place? Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to reduce global warming. Okay?
Yeah.
So if they put these trails out there and it slowly, these nano-sized metal particles will reflect part of the sun's light and energy back out. And it's doing it right now. We're getting about 20% less sun hitting the Earth, which is not good because plant life needs the sun to grow. But so we're sitting here getting the story that, hey, we're helping global warming. But they don't tell you that they've discovered that at night, this veil of particulates acts like a cloud and a blanket and keeps the earth warmer. So it is actually exacerbating
the problem.
Yeah.
We need to have umbrellas, in other words, to walk around. But of course, that doesn't help our breathing, does it?
No. That's the concern is the water supply and the soil are slowly being poisoned. And what these metals do when they hit the soil is it slowly increases the pH. It changes it from an acidic soil to a neutral soil, and most of the food likes acidic soil.
Yeah.
So we're, and this is happening worldwide. It's not just something here in Southern California. And I'm really concerned that people need to start just looking up, just paying attention of what's in the sky.
I heard the marijuana growers are really concerned too because it's affecting the plant life.
Yeah, you think of the Wizard of Oz. You know, this has a surreal feel to it. But the Wizard of Oz, there's a Tin Man there. Maybe we're all going to be Tin Men and recycle ourselves. You know, we just go to the recycle place.
You know, I mean, it's a big concern, but
sure
nobody seems to be doing anything about it. You know, they're talking about, you know, like Obama said, our biggest problem is global warming. Well, I mean, if this is the answer, he's killing our crops and our population too, probably in the meantime. Because
and who's going to worry about global warming, right?
I believe the real devious direction, the ultimate goal, is for you and I to not be able to grow our own food in our backyard. And we'll be forced to buy Monsanto fruits and Monsanto vegetables. They're even trying to patent livestock. So, and it's all going to be GMO'd, and it's going to be less nutrition for the populace, and it's everything, the way it's going, it looks like it's speeding up. I'm seeing it more and more and hearing it more.
Isn't it so widespread that it's going to kill the planet first before any of this would take effect?
Well, that science fiction movies of years ago may be becoming true.
Yeah, that's possible too. You know,
they have to have the government have these nutritional products.
Yeah.
Well, the minute you start messing with the weather system, you're touching something that's
not ours.
That's sacred, and that should just be left. This is Mother Nature, and this is how the whole planet and its life is cared for.
Well, they said. One expert from the Department of Defense said that they originally did this. They actually put the particles in with the jet fuel so that they could spread out false signals so they wouldn't be picked up on radar for military purposes. So that was one of the deals. And then he said, we also think that it's good for warfare because we can create... what is it? Snowballs? I mean, hailstones.
Oh, hailstones, yeah.
Hailstones as big as baseballs that could destroy the enemy below.
Sure.
And he said they peel back just like a cabbage. They have layers. Now, normally a hailstone wouldn't have that. But I guess the particles, the medical...
So create a super weapon is what you're saying. They're creating some type of super
but I mean,
weapon.
they want to manage the weather, so they can now create their own drought and their own floods wherever they want, which is...
It sounds like they're doing it in California, up in Northern California anyway.
Yeah, and it's been going on for about, the last 4 years?
Yeah.
So, and this is not just the aerosols that are being sprayed in the atmosphere. So they're putting these little fine particles of metals, sometimes it's fibers and plastics, to all sort of throw off radar, to help them come up with a better way to see what's coming into the atmosphere because it has all this metal in it. And using HAARP, I don't think we've talked about that yet. That's the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. The main one that's been affecting California is up in Kcaa, Alaska. And they use HAARP to energize and ionize the ionosphere and keep these particles sort of activated. So we're getting a double whammy here on weather modification with the HAARP project and also the atmospheric aerosols that they're spraying on us.
So how does HAARP work as far as
Well, HARP, like the project up in Alaska, just imagine sort of like a square grid, and you've got maybe 150 to 200 75-foot little AM towers, all putting out millions of watts of power. They then take all of these and they direct them to a focal point up into the ionosphere, to where if they keep it on, they will agitate it, ionize it, and create a high pressure system. And this obviously prevents any moisture from being formed. It keeps everything away. So when they're using HARP, in addition to the aerosols that are being sprayed, they're getting quite effective on where they want rain to drop and not drop.
Well, that seems, who's doing, I mean, you know, if it affects the entire universe of the world.
It's the militaries of all the countries.
All the countries, like a unified thing?
Oh, yeah, this is global. Okay. It's definitely global.
And do you think all these nations approve of this, or is it they don't have to approve of it?
I don't think many people in Congress or in the government are aware of what's going on. This is usually done by, quote unquote, these black ops sort of groups that do covert projects to test their concepts on us at whatever risk.
Well, is HARP a universal thing with many governments, or is it just...
No, I'm not sure how many there are. Assume there's 40, 50, 60 of them spread around the whole face of the planet. So,
is this costly to do? Is this a very costly project to do?
Oh, yeah, that looks like $1 million.
Yeah, it looked like millions of dollars.
Well, have you ever wondered how a screwdriver can cost $814?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So there's trillions of dollars a year that cannot be accounted for that go into these type of programs, and nobody's policing it, nobody's checking it out, and so all I'm trying to do is just get everybody to sort of wake up, and look up. In fact, that's another little short documentary too. Look Up, you can see on YouTube. So, and if you keep looking up, you will start to realize the differences in the clouds. You'll see these wispy sort of, they're just different looking, and they look a little grayish. You don't get these beautiful, clear, white cumulus clouds and the nice striking blue sky behind it anymore. We have these gray skies. So imagine that we're breathing this in daily. It's slowly landing on our soil, changing the pH of the soil. It's slowly going to get into the water system, and aluminum and strontium and barium, mercury, all of these things are toxic, and the only positive way anything could come out of this would actually be try to cool down global warming, but the program doesn't do that at all.
Well, I don't know what the answer is here, and I think that the politicians should get involved.
Sure.
If they're not aware of it, they should be. I've got somebody coming on next week that I'm going to find out what his take is on it. He's running for Congress.
Okay.
And we'll find out if they're aware of this, and a lot of them are fed the same line that it's a conspiracy theory and not a reality.
He has pictures here of people that have gotten diseases that are just horrendous diseases.
Yeah, we'll have to come back and talk about those.
Yeah.
But if anybody would like to call in and voice their opinion on this,
let us know what you think. Yeah.
Yeah, our phone numbers are, if you're local, it's 1-909-888-5222.
And if you're long distance, it's 1-888-909-1050.
And we hope to hear from you, because this is a vital problem and an issue.
Well, there have been a few people that have opposed this concept, that didn't want to go along with the program, and they're not living at the moment.
Okay.
Let's see, there was, most significantly lately, former Los Angeles FBI chief Ted Gunderson made a video denouncing chemtrails shortly before his death in 2011.
I knew him personally.
There was another gentleman, I think this is probably the best whistleblower. His name was A.C. Griffin, And I think he went AC because A stood for Andy.
Oh, yeah.
And a little too close to Andy Griffith, maybe. But
Yeah.
A.C. Griffin, he was a former CIA and NSA operative. And he's the one, if you also go to YouTube and type in chemtrails, the proof, it's about a 30-minute radio interview with Griffin telling, and it's very hard to understand what he's saying because it's a pretty complicated concept. But he describes in the best detail I've heard the real reason why the military is doing this.
Okay, we'll be right back after a brief commercial, and we'll take this up. Give us a call.
Do you like craft beer from microbreweries? Well, I'd like to tell you about Oak Hills Brewing Company in Hesperia. All of their beers are brewed on site from the very best ingredients. Yummy, yummy. Typically, they have between 12 to 14 beers on tap at any given time. And backed by popular demand, Mango Orange Wheat Beer. A delightfully flavored beer with orange and mango juice. It's a little light citrusy beer with a tropical twist. You can also check into some heavier beers, Grapefruit IPA and the Belgium Triple Redemption. You can also bring the kids. Oak Hills Brewing Company offers 3 crafted sodas, yummy root beer, zesty ginger ale, and cream soda. The kids will love them. You can also visit the tasting room and take the behind-the-scenes brewery tour. Oak Hills Brewing Company in Hesperia. They're open 3 days a week, Thursday from 3 to 9, and Friday and Saturday from 1 till 10. Go up right after you hear the show. For more information, go to their website. It's oakhillsbrewingco.com. oakhillsbrewingco.com. You'll find a map with directions and a list of all their beers. To find the best craft beer in Southern California, just remember Oak Hills Brewing Company in Hesperia. Take the 15 up to the 395, pass 2 signals, and turn right on Poplar. Oak Hills Brewing Company, Hesperia.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
Welcome back to Mad as Hell.
Welcome back. And I guess we have a...
Oh, we had one and she hung up.
Oh, we had a caller and she hung up. Well, if she could call back, I'd appreciate it. And she was mad as hell about something. So
we'll see what, maybe.
Yeah, so I was sitting talking about how these people that really do oppose this program end up dead. And there was another former Clinton-era Navy chief of naval operations, Jeremy Borda, who was murdered because he opposed the program. He was found dead in 1996 with 3 shotgun wounds in his chest, and they termed it a suicide.
Oh, that's doing something. Oh, she's back. We've got a caller. Welcome to I'm Mad as Hell.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, and you're mad as hell about what?
I'm mad as hell at our school system.
School system?
Yes, our schools and the confusion that they're causing our kids.
Oh, yeah? What's the problem? Tell me all about it.
You're on.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son was having a conversation with another party and talking about his testicles and say hello.
Oh, really? And what did they do in the school system?
What did they do?
And one was, I guess a girl walked by. Now she's sexually harassed. She heard this conversation, so now she's sexually harassed. The school took him up and reprimanded him for sexual harassment
Because he
for
talked,
having a conversation with one of his friends.
and that was all because of him talking about his testicles, right?
Well, yes, yeah, in context about an infection he'd had.
I can't see how that could happen if it was
But,
something.
we can have,
How old is your son?
13 years old.
Well, what have you done about it?
Well, I just finding out about it, actually. I'm going to address it on Tuesday. I haven't even got to address it yet.
Well, it seems like you can't talk about anything that is sexual in any nature, regardless of what it is, even if it wasn't meant to be sexual, it turns into that.
Oh, yeah, well, but they also, now our bathrooms are unisex. You know, he could go in and use the restroom with the girls, or the girls can go in and use the restroom with him. But a conversation is, within context is inappropriate if somebody walks by.
Well,
it makes no sense. It makes no sense. What are our kids supposed to do? It's like there's no right or wrong. They're making it up as they go each day.
Well, you need to talk to the administration about that completely.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things to talk to the administration about. And in just a couple days of school after this, because he was high stressed, and it creates a high stress situation. I have to, conduct yourself and not get in trouble and not be stressed when there's no standard of values of what's right and wrong.
If students have to
the rules each day.
Yeah, but if students have to keep their mouths shut for fear of saying anything anymore, that's not good for the educational system, period.
Oh, that closes it down.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So I at least that's, if anybody else has had problems like that, please let us know.
Yeah, call in and let us know.
Yeah. I appreciate.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for your
well,
call.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, okay. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's interesting, but I can't see.
It's strange, just a strange call, but...
yeah. Well, you shouldn't talk about any of that personal things. I guess it would be misconstrued as being a
Did you ever do that when you were in school? Did you ever talk about your testicles? I did.
You did?
Yeah, I did. Jim did, I'm sure.
Oh, gosh, in school, we used to shower together.
Yeah, that's right.
Who? The girls and boys?
No, just the guys.
I went to an all-boys school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I went to a boy and girl school. No girls ever come in our shower.
Yeah,
No,
but they
not even teachers.
But the girls would shower together, and the guys would shower together.
That's right. You're right.
That doesn't happen now. It's
No,
crazy.
It's crazy. Yes. Well, get back on your subject.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about chemtrails. Let's get back on the subject of chemtrails and what medical problems. Now, I heard that the excess of aluminum is causing more Alzheimer's. And according to one doctor, he said that the incidence of Alzheimer's is greatly increased because of the aluminum they're finding in the brain. And so that's coming from somewhere.
Well, I know respiratory.
I was just going to say our doctor is
asthma is just
cited asthma out of
nuts.
sight, going nuts.
The U.S. used to be 8th in the world with respiratory disease, and now we're 3rd. So asthma rates have also doubled, and also Alzheimer's disease. So it's all caused by aluminum poisoning, but that's not the only thing that's up in there. There's all these other heavy metals. So it's just a major test. And the 2 movies that I mentioned, Why in the World Are They Spraying and What in the World Are They Spraying, that you can see on YouTube, they're really just trying to give you the best picture, the best understanding of how sort of devious this is.
Is there a quick fix to it, Jim, or is it...
They've been doing this for years. And, that's an interesting question. I don't know if there is a quick fix, because you can tweak with Mother Nature to a certain point to where you'll permanently change things.
Is there something the listeners can do to help promote awareness? Or
no, the best thing is just be aware of it and try to make everybody you know just aware of what's being sprayed on them.
Well, shouldn't they ask their elected officials too, like congressmen and senators, what they're doing about it?
Yes,
see
but
if there's any.
They either don't know about it or they don't usually respond. I don't know of too many politicians that are willing to say that they're behind this.
Where they make you out like crackpots or whatever. Anybody that's doing this is like my neighbor who says it's alien produced, to
I just mentioned some names of people that are not breathing anymore.
Yeah, I got it.
So
fear factor too.
Well, I've heard that it was aliens.
Did you hear the same thing?
Yeah,
I got a whole dissertation on how it helps them to breathe because they can't breathe purified air.
Well, I think that's just goofiness.
Yeah.
No,
that was my
if you actually look up, you can
thing.
see this happening.
Yeah.
And it's not a
you
theory.
It's
actually reality.
Okay,
Yeah, it's happening right now.
Well, I saw a good program on geoengineeringwatch.org, and that had the conference up north.
Right. I think is that Dane Wigington's site?
Yeah.
That's the guy that lives up near Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
There's another gentleman, I forget his name, but he has a ranch on Maui. And over the last 5-6 years, about 60% of his ranch his farm is not producing anymore. And they get a little devious, once a few of us, when we start realizing what's going on and we're looking up, they get sneaky. Like right now, they're spraying over the ocean and wait for the offshore breeze to bring it in and cover us up. They're doing the same thing in Hawaii. They'll spray off the island and then have the trade winds bring it in, so that you can't really see the planes doing it.
So what about the scientists? Have they tested the soil, and what is their
Well, the geoengineering scientists, when you watch these two movies I've been talking about, you'll realize they haven't really done any research on the toxicity of aluminum.
Yeah.
And they don't really know the outcome of this experiment. They even say certain places on the planet are going to get worse and other places are going to benefit.
Well, this one scientist came on this program, when they had the conference up there, and was talking about the metal particles. He said actually they're in liquid form. He said they're in such small doses, they're in liquid form, and then when they drop into the water system or anything else, they can, or even to the crops, they just get right into the leaves and everything else, and to the ground also.
Wouldn't it be simpler to just put it in
I don't believe that it's liquid, though, that they're spraying. It's actual metal particles.
Wouldn't it be easier to put them in there through a pesticide and just spraying the pesticides on our crops? Wouldn't it be just as easy to put this stuff in there that way and more concentration?
I'm sure just like Lloyd said, they put it in jet fuel. They could put it in rocket launches leaving Cape Canaveral. They can, they can just affect certain little microclimates.
Well, the point is, it's from a high atmospheric level. I was wondering if that had something to do with activating these particles or some scientific meaning or some.
No, well, the fact that they're doing it around 30,000 feet, that's up in the jet stream, and using HAARP and these atmospheric aerosols, they have actually changed the jet stream. That's why California's not getting any water, and the Midwest is getting flooded. And it's being perpetrated. It's planned. It's engineered. They want California and the country to be in a dire position.
Okay. So they're selecting their spots then pretty well.
Yeah.
It's not just a global thing like you were saying, where everybody get hit somewhat.
If you drive up 5, you just see all this terrible farmland. It's just being
that's what Mariposa is right in the central California, Fresno, Madera, and in that area. And she said everything is dead, everything.
Well, a lot of that has to do with water allocations too, but it's maybe the conspiracy is with the state of California and
the Department of Agriculture.
But this is also it's affecting everything.
It has to.
Firefighters. I've been reading some stories where the fires they're fighting now
are more intense.
Way more intense because
of the
magnesium, aluminum, all these metals ignite. They're flammable. and they're all dusted on the trees. So when they catch fire, it's much worse.
Yeah, I read that too. Anyway, we're coming up for a commercial again, and then we got to take a break.
Here we are talking about chemical trails.
Yeah.
Look up in the sky.
It tells it all, huh, Jim?
It does.
Okay.
Is it that time your car needs a smog check? Well, check out Quick Smog Check in Montclair. They guarantee your vehicle will pass or you pay not a thing. That's right. If it doesn't pass the test, what the heck? You don't have to pay. So what's the reason why you're not calling them? The number 909-626-5436. You can also drive right down there now. 5438 Holt Boulevard in Montclair. They're open 9 to 5, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Do it now. No wait smog checks at Quick Smog Check in Montclair. 909-626-5436.
KCAA Loma Linda.
Use the power of the sun and save money on your utility bills. Solar power has saved many residents as much as 75% on their utility bills. But finding a good contractor can be very difficult. Look no further. Euclid Energy Performance Contractors is a family-based business in Upland. They not only do solar panels, they also do windows, insulation, heating and air conditioning, and also custom remodeling. Remember this number, 909-285-4406 for a free energy evaluation, 909-285-4406, or check out their website at www.eepcontractors.com. Euclid Energy Contractors guarantee all their work and products, eepcontractors.com.
KCAA. Once again, here's Lloyd and Greg.
Yeah, we're here talking to Jim Fakis, investigative reporter on chemtrails and the HART program. It's very interesting that a lot of people don't know this even exists, and many of them think it's strictly conspiracy theory. I wish more and more evidence would come up. I mean, it's out there, and these scientists that are very intelligent know what is happening to the Earth, and yet people are not responding to it, or at least our politicians and the ones responsible for it. It would be interesting if we could identify the corporations.
Sure.
You said, I think, Jim, you told me before about Raytheon is supposed to be involved.
Yeah, I understand Raytheon's the one that's sort of creating the particulates. But I'm not sure.
Well, if anybody is sure, I'm sure there's whistleblowers out there that maybe no longer work for the company.
They would like
of
us
course,
to know.
If they might think that, hey, their retirement might stop if they blow the whistle, that doesn't happen. You're entitled to that legally. So if you know something about chemtrails or this HART program, and you're out there, we don't have to use your real name.
Sure.
You can come on, as I say, or just call us and tell us about it. Because, I mean, this is the only way that we're going to find out about this. And if we could find out, identify where the aircraft are, where they're being loaded, and things like this.
Well, I'm sure most of them are coming from air bases.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, we're like the frog in the pot of water. We're in that water right now and slowly boiling. If this is all true, we're in trouble, and we need some people out there to stop it now.
No, there's no question it's
Turn
happening.
the fire off.
It's really not a theory. It's reality.
Okay.
And the best way to get a better understanding on this, there's that geopoliticalwatch.org site you can go to. There's Look Up, which is a half-hour documentary. What in the world are they spraying? Why in the world are they spraying? And also the chemtrails, the proof that has A.C. Griffin talking about the actual reason why they're doing it. And if you listen to it, you'll see why I'm having a tough time trying to tell you the concept. But it's basically they're trying to turn the atmosphere into a battlefield to where they can see and analyze anything that's coming into the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to get one of these experts on this program sometime that actually has hands-on evidence or, of what's happening to the planet.
That'd be wonderful.
And this, if there's anybody locally that Jim, that might want to come on, I'd be appreciative there. And
Sure.
We could, and anybody out there that really wants to know more about it can call us and ask.
Yeah, ask about it.
There's in the airline industry, the operation, I guess, is known as Project Cloverfield. And in the year 2000, a high-level executive at an American Airlines revealed that his office was visited by two men from an unnamed government agency. They were told that the government was going to pay the airline, along with others, to release special chemicals from commercial aircraft. When asked what the chemicals were and why we were going to spray them, they told us that information was given on a need-to-know basis, and we weren't cleared for it. We were made to sign non-disclosure forms that basically stated we would go to prison if we ever told anybody about what we knew. And that's the fear porn that they always throw at us.
Sure.
Yeah, they had, I think, on Wikipedia, I was reading that they had a plane, and they showed it, that had tanks and everything else in there. You saw that too?
Yeah, I did. I sure did.
And the inside was a commercial airliner, and they had all these tanks where the seats used to be, and they claimed that they were testing this plane for weight. And they would use, they would spray all this stuff out. They would fill up the tanks, and then they would disperse the water, pure and simple, to find out the weight, of the aircraft and different passenger loads. But I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
But this is also sort of connected with GMOs, oddly enough.
Oh, yeah?
Because Monsanto, let's just say there's a drought now in California.
Mm-hmm.
Monsanto has drought-resistant seeds.
Oh, yeah?
Let's say there's abiotic and biotic stress that plants go through. Well, Monsanto has abiotic-resistant seeds. So whatever they do to the environment, they poison it with aluminum, they'll now create seeds and plants that will thrive in aluminum.
Sounds like it's
it's the whole concept is to actually control the food supply.
Sure.
And actually control what we eat. And you've heard about the seed farms, like Bill Gates and some of these others. They have buried somewhere in the ice, 200-300 feet below surface. Seed farms, seed banks. They're not for us. Those are the heirloom seeds being saved for the elite. That'll have the nutrition, and everything's still in them. So it's amazing how duped we have been, and actually believing that our government and corporations and military have our best interest. So it's sort of a rude awakening, but it's time. It's happening right now, and we are the people we've been waiting for. We've got to sort of stand up and take an action to do something to preserve this planet for our future generations.
Yeah, well, we shouldn't be the guinea pigs, though.
That's right.
Without knowing what's going on. We didn't volunteer for this.
I didn't.
I didn't either. But,
Well, you're looking awful shiny. I like that aluminum forehead.
Yeah, recyclables. There we go. Turn into a can. Crack them and,
see, that goes back to corporations.
Yeah,
too.
corporations, right?
Aluminum Corporation of America. Just
Reynolds wrap. Huh?
The human body can be recycled, and you get so much aluminum and so much of this.
It sounds like we're going to be more aluminum than anything, right?
Well, it's true, but I mean, it's not. At first they thought, and this was years ago, that Alzheimer's was caused by the deodorants because it had aluminum in it.
Aluminum, yeah.
And maybe it was coming from the sky all along, see?
Well, this was what, discovered in 96? This started in 96,
I hear this has
exposure?
been going on for years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but it's 15, 20 years at least.
Okay.
Well, there was that...
and you're familiar with the Terminator seeds, right?
Sure.
You know, Monsanto, to where they want to control the food supply, so when a farmer plants his seeds, he won't get a seed crop. Terminator seeds will not produce the next generation of seeds. So you have to constantly go back every year to buy
new
the
ones.
seeds from Monsanto at a very exorbitant price.
Some of the marijuana growers have been doing that for years, too. They've been producing stuff that produce no seeds just to keep the competition down.
So if you have any wonders why maybe some of your trees and plants aren't doing well in the backyard, or maybe on a heavy spray day you're feeling a little headachy and a little fatigued or a little irritated, just remember that this weather manipulation is happening daily, and it's happening across the entire planet. There was even, doesn't this surprise you that TV weathermen never mention anything about this? You ever seen a weatherman go, you know what, that looked like a normal weather front forming, and now I don't know what I'm looking at. You don't even hear that.
No.
So one of the movies that I did talk about that's on that you can look at on YouTube has a guy named Scott Stevens. He was a past TV weatherman, and he said somewhere in the interview, says, how did I not see this? It was right in front of his face, and he was a weatherman. So just keep in mind, folks, that our health and our planet's health really depends upon us not messing with the weather and Mother Nature. We're not that smart. And I hope that you get a chance to really inform yourself. These movies, again, look up. Chemtrails, the proof. What in the world are they spraying? Why in the world are they spraying? And if you search engine, you'll find a whole bunch of really other interesting films about the subject. So,
Do you have a site or anything, Jim, that they can go to and visit you personally, or is that
no?
something you wanna do?
I don't have my own site.
Okay.
I'm just a researcher on this and very concerned about the planet is being poisoned right now.
Yes.
And not 1 in 100 people know about it. So
Yeah,
I'm really glad that you gave me the chance to come down and talk about it, Lloyd and Greg. It's cool.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, but it's
And then we've
very
got,
informative.
As I say, if there's anybody out there that has more information
Sure,
about this, and
bring it on.
Please contact us, because we'd like to know, and I'm sure our listeners would like to know more about this. It does. I know Jim does a lot of interviews with different people, and some with outer space. They believe in aliens and things like that.
Yes,
You go to that.
I went out to the Contact in the Desert this, I think it was last May in Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
A lot of just really passionate, wonderfully involved people trying to help us wake up and hear the truth.
Yeah.
And look up in the sky.
Look up, though. You
may
can see it
find
coming.
Then, and some of them are real believers, and they say that they've been in these spacecraft and experienced a lot of different things.
Well,
and
that's a whole other show, Lloyd.
Yeah,
we
well-
can talk about it. I'd be more than happy to. That's called the Secret Space Program.
Oh.
But we're here on planet Earth at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
We've got
that's,
very little time left, but we're
Okay.
going to...
Who we have next week, Lloyd? Have you got somebody in line?
Yeah,
or-
we've got a politician
Okay.
that's running.
Good.
Paul Chabot is supposed to be here next week and talk about his running for Congress and why he's the best candidate.
If
And,
you haven't, okay, go ahead.
And I've also invited Pete Aguilar, our current congressman, to be on, not on the same program, but at a different time. So,
If you folks
Look
have
forward
any
to that.
ideas of who you'd like to hear from, let us know.
yeah, it's been great.
Been a good
We'll see you next week, or you can hear us.
Yeah,
next
you
week
can hear us next week, and some can see us
on the internet.
on the internet. That's right.
See you later.
Thank you, guys.
Well, it filters through.
This is 1050 AM KCAA Loma Linda and 106.5 FM Yucaipa.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
The Red River rivalry, a burnt orange upset. I'm Keith Irizarry. The Longhorns came into their yearly game with the Sooners as a struggling 1-4 team, but it didn't matter.
As Hurd in the victory formation takes the knee, and that'll do it as they storm the field. And the Longhorns have pulled the shocker this afternoon at the Cotton Bowl.